So hi everybody and welcome back to the Unreal Engine 5 full game tutorial series for absolute beginners. This is video 3 of our tiny game and let's get started. And in this video we are going to create our 2 empty projects with the templates, and I hope you have already installed Unreal Engine, have installed C++, so that and started the launcher so that you can see this launcher window. And then you click here on games. Here we have our templates, and now we have to select. So I will use here for this project the blank templates here, but it is sometimes even better to use one of the other templates. And the difference is when we have a blank template, there is nothing in it. And when you select, for example, this third person template, then you have already a character which you can change a little bit, but you have all the core mechanics. For example, you have already a movement, a character who can have animations, and then you can change just the appearance, and you have already a start. And there are different modis. You can see this is more like a third person who is fighting anyhow. This one here is more like a first person. Here you see only the weapon and the first person view. Here you have a more like a top down view. You can see it from top down, then you can select like in real-time strategy games, or you want not create a character at all. You can create here a vehicle, a car, perhaps later a airplane, or you create nothing. You can just make a point and click game. And there are many options, and for this one it is perhaps nice to just select the third person template, but still I start with this one. If you want, you can create one of them. Here is also important to note that when you select one of these templates, they have different template versions, and this one you can see here down in variants. And then you select just here all, then all the variants are selected. You can test them out a little bit and later select that what you really want. So I'm selecting now the blank. Then we jump here to this place. It says here project defaults. Here we have the option about Blueprint, C++. We select Blueprint. And don't worry, if you already know C++, you still can select Blueprint because you can combine this. So you can select a Blueprint project and still make C++ classes. And only C++ is more for really only C++ guys. We skip that, so select just Blueprints. Then here we have target platform. You can see we have here 2 options, desktop and mobile. This is very important later because let's say you create one game, but you want to support both platforms, desktop or mobile. Then you will create for, let's say for a mobile, a different version, a slightly different version than for desktop. And the reason for that is desktop PCs are more powerful and mobiles are restricted. That means they are not even support every plugin. Later we have Lumen and Nanite. I think it's still not supported on mobile. That means when you select here mobile, later we have also cleaned the plugins, and that's why we have then later 2 different versions to create, one for mobile, one for desktop. And right now I'm just creating one version and will only show one version, but of course you should again research and create the other version as well, because in my last video I told you we need 2 projects, one for release, one for development. And right now I create just the development. Okay, then we go here down. Here you name the project name. I will name my project name here just C. I already have this created. And you name it your project name what you like. And important is also this folder here, because we will need this later to set up our GitHub. And then you just create All right, and after you created this one, you should see a screen like this. This is the start screen of a blank project. And here a note blank. This looks not blank. You can see already here a sky and here meshes, a landscape and something like that. To make it blank, we have now to change the level. How we do this? First, we go on top, on File. We click here on New Level. And then we have the options about empty level. And you can see this looks really black. And we have just here helper lines. This will be not visible later. This one is basic. But we select empty, and here is also empty open world. This one we are not selecting. This is for very big worlds with a partition. We make just a tiny game, so we select this one, and then you can create this one. So, and when you clicked on create, you don't save the start level because this was not a real blank level. We are just switching to this blank screen here. And this one we have to save. So, and how we save this, we go here on top to File, then go here Save Current Level As, and the content drawer appears. But what is this content drawer? You can find this faster. How? You go down here, it says your content drawer, click on this one, and we have the same thing as well. This is our start point. Important is also this tooltip. When you hover with your mouse over it, it says a keyboard binding, for example, Control Space Bar. Then it's a little bit faster if you use as well the keyboard. Then you can open it up fast and click again to close it. Very handy. Okay, let's open up the content drawer. And here, the most important part is in this folder view, this content. Here you have to put everything in what you want to use within this editor. So this editor is realizing your assets and you can use it. But now you have to create in this content folder a folder structure, and that means just you have to create for every category a folder. For example, for the level, you create a level folder. For 3D models, you create a 3D models folder. For the character, perhaps you create a character folder. And there are different styles. Everybody is doing it a little bit different. So you research and show what you like, and you make it on your own style. So now I create a folder for level, and I have my own style, but in general they use just the folder name level or map. And I right click here, go to the new folder, and here I name my level LVL. This is the shortcut, the prefix. Then what LVL means, it means level. And then I do one more thing, the project. In my case, this is the project C. So I add a C to it. But most time you will just see that many people just go to folder, call it level, or go to folder and call it map. So this kind of names you will most times see, and you will never see many people call it like what I do here. This is just style. So a short explanation why I make it a little bit more complicated. First of all, the first prefix LVL means just what the content folder means, level, because many people use different names, and later you can just watch here in the content folder and see, okay, level LVL, and this LVL prefix I will use perhaps in assets as well, not here in level, but in other cases. When we have a static mesh, SM will be then the shortcut, and then it's a static mesh asset, and I can see this. And like I said, different people use different namings, and if I don't know what SM means, then I can just come here to the content folder. SM is then here listed, and the name is here. This is the first part. And the second part, it's even more important. You could perhaps skip this first part because later this will be very clear. But the C part almost nobody is doing. It is that what I do for convenience. Right now I can't show you this, but later when we are creating assets and you write all time in your asset at the end, your project name, that's why I made it very short in this case, _C, then if I try to find this asset later in a search bar, there will be very many assets who sound similar, have similar names, and I can't distinguish them very fast, and I have then to check the path name. But if I add this little C all time to my assets, then I can all time make an _C, and it is jumping to my asset if it's unique. That's if it's not unique, then of course not, but most time it will work. Later we will see that, but in general you can skip this and just write level. But if you want to have it later easy, write something like a helper in a suffix here, like me. In my case, C is my project name, so I know this asset belongs to the project C. So now we go again on top, save current level as. Now you can see we have our content where we should everything put in, but we have also our created level. This is the map level, or how you called it. And now I want save it here. And here down, this is my path name. Here is the name, and now I call this one, this is the base level, so I call it LVL. You don't have to, base, and I call it here _C. It sounds a little bit complicated. Again, you don't have to do this, but later it helps me a lot. That's why I make this style a little bit complicated. And we just save it. So now remember my little strange roadmap, which I showed in my slide. And there I showed first we add to our empty project something. Yes, we added here something. You can see we added this map. And the second step is test. So how we test this. Testing, we just start the game. Here on top, you just press this button and it will also compile at the same time. And this is our first test. In my case, I press there. It is an empty project. Everything works fine, no crashes. And then I press here and close this. Of course, if you have one of these other templates with a character in it, or with a first person shooter, then you can shoot, and then or the other things, then you can fight. There you can test a little bit more mechanics, but in an empty project you can't test much. But feel free to use one of these other templates for testing, playing around, and so on. So that was the first test. The second test was we make a full build and then test it. How we are doing this? We go here on top. There is a build, and here it says build all levels. This one you click, and then it tries to build all levels. In my case, it built very fast because it's empty. But if you have a project with many assets, lights, actors, and so on, that can take a long time. Keep this in mind. But then what do you do after this? After you have built all levels and start this one, and if there are no errors, this is the first step, that's okay, but that's not enough in the build all levels, because you have then to play the game. I can't show you this one right now, but you have to play the game and play all the steps which you created and see if this is created like you wanted. Sometimes the light is off, sometimes the color is off, sometimes the position is off and it works not, or the animation is not working, and then you have to fix it. That was our second step. And after that, after we have built everything and tested there and everything works, then comes the last test, the package test. But the package test I will do now in the next video, and talk about a packaging page a little bit more. And that's why we skip this test for right now. Instead, before we finish this video here, we add here one more thing, and that is the version control. So I hope you have already downloaded the GitHub desktop, then you can open up GitHub desktop and there should be something like that. And the nice thing is with version control, we don't need it online. We can make it locally in our own machine. And I show you this how to make this very fast. You go here on File and you say just add local repository. You click on this, you find now the folder where you installed right now your project. In my case, it was anywhere in documents. Where are they? Where is that? In documents, anywhere in Unreal Engine projects, and it was number C. And then you select this folder here and add repository. And then it says here, you have to create this and so on. Create repository, you just said here, okay, we create this, and then you give here a description name if you want. I skip this, I know. And then let's see, here we have something to do. This is important, this git ignore. We are selecting here down Unreal Engine, if you find this one here. And of course, you can research this if there is a newer version, but I'm using this one. And right now we are using license none. Later you can read these licenses and you can add this later as well when you release your project if you want, and then read this a little bit more in detail. But right now we do this one, we create our repository, and this one is now added. We go back to our game because we need now activate version control. We have right now just connected Git with our project, and now we use that here. So, and how we do this, we go just here down to this folder. It says here revision control. This is our version control. We click on this, then you get here connect, and then you click here and you have your different versions. Use that what you know, and if you don't know any, just select Git what you have downloaded and ignore that it says here beta version. That is not really a beta version. This says it over 5-7 years already. And then you select this one, and then you should see something like this, because this should be recognized, and then you just accept settings, and this should be now connected. But how do you use now Git and versions control? This part I'm going to skip because this is too much time again. I hope you can research this on your own. The last thing what we are going here is just save that. So all time save all. Okay, save all selected. And then you see here sometimes other symbols than normal. And this other symbols than normal indicates we are using version control. So, and that's enough for this video. And with that said, if you have any questions like all time, write in the comment section. See you in the next video. Bye and good luck.